a super girly girl when I was little. Pink and violet were my favorite colors. I loved Disney princesses, especially Cinderella and Elsa, and polka dots were my favorite shape. That has nothing to do with everything else, I just wanted to share that. But I was also completely aware that these things were marketed towards girls, and boys are supposed to like cars and trucks and stuff, but that didn't stop me from playing trains with my little brother, and as I got older, the less I wanted to do with the pink aisle. And now I don't really play with toys anymore, but I find the boys and girls marketing extremely stupid. Like, the only reason boys and girls grow up liking blue and pink is because that's what they're told to like. So that's what this video is gonna be about, I guess. This intro was pretty terrible. Like I said before, I was obsessed with Disney princesses and was in the generation when Frozen was released, so you probably know how that went. But my favorite shows were more for both boys and girls. Yeah, I liked the Tinkerbell movies, but I also liked Jake and the Neverland Pirates, and there were times when I would join my little brother to watch the old Bob the Builder or Rescue Bots. Actually, I liked Rescue Bots better than my brother. He was more of a Transformers Prime kind of guy, which my mom didn't like because he was watching Transformers Prime when he was like 4, and... But I felt like I couldn't like those shows or watch them on my own because they were boy shows, and my brother didn't want to watch anything I watched because they were girl shows. Not to mention the girl shows were typically more brainless than the boy shows. And just wondering, did any of you guys watch Word World or Kipper the Dog? Because those were my favorite shows when I was little, but I've never met anyone else who grew up with them. Please tell me! I even rewatched Kipper a couple years ago and it was still so cute! The only girl show I got completely obsessed with was, you guessed it, My Little Pony. But unlike the other girl shows and stuff, the characters had personalities and the storyline was really good. There's a reason grown men got obsessed with the show. It's good. But the bronies were bullied because the people who took the show at face value were just looking at the marketing, which is targeted towards little girls. The marketing of My Little Pony always bothered me because it doesn't showcase what the show is actually like. This isn't gonna turn into another video about My Little Pony, don't worry, but I just have one question. Why is it that when adults were watching My Little Pony, they got bullied, but 10 years later, people were praised for loving Bluey? It's the same thing. Justice for the bronies. I not only separated shows into boys and girls categories, but I separated colors. Blue was for boys, pink was for girls. But my entire reality was shattered when I went to this playground with my family, and this group of teenage boys passed us wearing all pink. So I asked my dad how they could do that because it was illegal for boys to wear pink or something in my brain, and he told me that boys could wear pink if they wanted to, and this blew my mind. Not only that, but he told me that historically, pink used to be a boy color, and blue was a girl color. I'm just sharing this because the whole color thing is also pretty stupid. As a child, I had completely fallen for the pink for girls, blue for boys philosophy, even before I could really read. Okay, I started reading when I was like 2, but still. And this leads me into the toys part of this video because those aisles at stores are ridiculous. You got the boys aisle with all the colors you could ever imagine, and then there was the girls section. And then boys and girls grow up believing that they can't play with the opposite gender's toys because that's how the world works or whatever. Even though most girls use Barbies as action figures or subjects of torture anyway. I really feel like the divide between boys and girls in elementary school is mostly due to stuff like this that is forced upon kids at such a young age, because why else would they stay apart from each other or believe that the other gender had cooties or whatever? And then when things split up groups into boys and girls, that doesn't help the divide either. There's this one thing that I go to sometimes that still splits up into boys and girls for teenagers, even though at this point I'm actually closer friends with the boys. I'm ranting, sorry, back to the video. But when my brother joined Boy Scouts, or Cub Scouts I guess, it was this big thing for me, because everything he was doing in Scouts, I really wanted to do. But I couldn't because I was a girl. Specifically the Pinewood Derby. I wanted to build a stupid car so badly, but I didn't want to join Girl Scouts because all Girl Scouts are really known to do is sell cookies and ride horses and stuff. I could be completely wrong, but it just seems like the Boy Scouts do so much more than the Girl Scouts generally, or at least more things that I was interested in by observing my brother in Cub Scouts. So my mom just told me that they changed the names of the Boy Scout thing to a different thing, like Scouts of America, which I think is good because you shouldn't like limit girls to Girl Scouts and boys to Boy Scouts. But that's really all I have to say in this outro. This is another outro where I don't really know what to say, so thanks for watching and subscribe.